We continue to focus on the advancement of the black race and their standing in today's society. Has the focus of Black History Month lost, and how much importance should we really place on it? Joining us this morning with more on this discussion is Stephen Golding, who is the president of the UNIA, the Universal Negro Improvement Association. Steve, morning. What's up, sir?
Morning.
All right, let's get into establishing what exactly is the purpose of your association, the UNIA.
Boy, the fact that we have to ask that, speaks to the need for a Black History Month, or maybe even a Black History Year. The UNIA, of course, is the largest confraternity of black men and women ever founded in the Western Hemisphere, and it was founded by our first national hero in 1914. That's almost 100 years ago. We celebrate our centenary in 2014. And of course, Garvey's idea was that coming out of slavery and, getting ourselves together as a race and as a people so that we could be respected in the world, so that we could have an equal say when the world sits together at the table to discuss.
We know and understand the founding principles of the UNIA and what it stood for then. So what we're basically trying to get out is how relevant is it in today's society? That's what we want to find out. How relevant is the UNIA?
But if we understand the aims and objectives of the UNIA, then it's quite obvious that the need for it and the relevance for it hasn't changed.
Because it's still serving
we certainly are not up to the numbers that Garvey had it in his heyday, but I get into this argument a lot with some of the Garvey scholars out there who feel that there's not a need for the UNIA anymore because the African countries are now free from colonialism and everybody's on equal footing. But African countries still sit at the bottom of the list when we talk about wealth, when we talk about resources, when we talk about self-management and self-reliance. Furthermore, we have more black men in prison than we do in universities. Our situation here in Jamaica, if we want to get specific, involves bleaching. It involves illiteracy among our young men. It involves issues of even falling prey to crime, homosexuality, all sorts of things are going on that puts the race at risk. So the UNIA is about conservation and improvement of our race, and no one can deny globally or locally in Jamaica that black people need improvement. Their situation in the world needs to be improved, and we mustn't get swept up into our nationalities and forget that we share a common we're at a common disadvantage around the world as a people.
Very specifically about Jamaica. I understand the relevance of the entity outside of Jamaica, but within Jamaica, are black people really that disenfranchised?
85% of the wealth of this country is not concentrated amongst the 90% of the masses. There was a saying in Jamaica one time about the 20 families that runs this country. I don't know if it still goes on. I'm not sure who these 20 families are. But if that sort of things happens on the undertone, let us be bold in admitting it. And there are certain undercurrents in this country that still represent a racist sort of mentality or a racist sort of view. We still go to primary schools and hear children teasing each other about who is the black one, right? We still have issues of people feeling that changing their skin color will change their social status. And if we can accept that, then we must ask the question as to why is it like that? And how do we go about changing it?
But all right, where does that responsibility lie? Because, and this is an issue that continues to play out. And you are right, because, when you were growing up, your mommy or your grandmother normally say that anything were too black or good and so on. But unfortunately, that has transcended generations. So who do we blame for that? Is it something that we foist or we straddle on the wider society?
Well, the funny thing is I'm not into the blame game. I'm quite clear as to how we got where we are. 9/11 happened in the United States, and you hear them talking about all of this, the trauma and how people need to be rehabilitated afterwards. The Holocaust happened in World War II, and we still see issues of that trying to, Jewish people trying to balance out their lives and that experience. Now, black people were under slavery for almost half a millennia, 500 years. And even in emancipation, we got no rehabilitation. Reparations was paid to the slaveholders. So we have not, as a country or as a people, dealt with the post-traumatic slave syndrome that, as some people refer to it. And so it has surfaced in every aspect of our society. From the days in the 70s where you had to be a light-skinned person to work in the bank, to the fact that most of the descendants of European families in Jamaica are still at the top of the economic chain, right? So these things are a reality. Now, I don't want to, it's not about blaming. Marcus Garvey himself said, where's the black man's king? Where's his government? Where's his army? Where's his navy? Where's his men of big affairs? He didn't say it's your fault we don't have that. He said, where are they? And where I cannot find them, I will help to create them. So that is the UNIA's message to the masses. We are a fraternity. We are asking people to become aware of our situation as a race, to bind together, to join together, and make of ourselves, as to put it in Garvey's word, our own empire upon which the sun shall never set.
All right, it's an argument that we're going to continue, right? So we will certainly going to be engaging you in not too long a time from now again. Stephen Golding, we want to thank you so very much for passing through this morning, the president of the UNIA, because there are so many issues that we have not touched.
Yes.
But it's Black History Month, so we are going to have you on again.
You know, and it's funny because I heard the security alert. I was watching the security alert before I came on. I'm just saying to myself, you know, people ask about the relevance of Black History Month, why we need to teach Black history, why we need to teach about Garvey. And the officer was here talking about Klansman. Now, how black people get themselves into a organization, let's make into a gang that is named Klansman, spelled with a K from the Ku Klux Klan, right? And be proud of that. That in itself speaks to our ignorance and the way our ignorance causes us to inflict pain and damage on ourselves.
We're going to have you back without doubt. All right, Stephen Golding, President UNIA. Thank you so very much, sir, again for that engaging discussion. All right, when we come back from this break, we look at your responses to our Facebook question this morning and more on the late, great Whitney Houston. That and more straight ahead when the CAS returns.